Ireland are tested to the limit by injuries and a fantastic Scotland display. My name's Mark, let's talk rugby. What a fantastic game we just witnessed. Like, my heart is still pumping. We're really getting treated this year in the Six Nations. Some fantastic games. Like, we had Ireland versus France, then France versus Scotland, and now this game is right up there as well. Such like tempo to the game, and two teams, you can see like they're right there, testing each other so much. It was great. So let's get into the game itself. So early on, Russell, he collects a box kick from Murray, claims the mark, and immediately bangs it deep into the Irish half. Scotland, you can see earlier on, they're doing well to slow down Irish ball on attack. They're going through phases. They're stretching Ireland side to side. They're finding space. They really are stretching that Irish defence, finding space in the middle and out to the wing as well. Tuipulotu, who was, immense for Scotland, and Jones also making good ground. But then we have two poor Scotland lineouts, almost leads to an Irish try. So first we have a mix-up where they throw it directly to an Irish player. Ireland get upfield, kick it through. It's another lineout to Scotland, but it's on their own 5-metre line. Sexton with a lovely kick through along the ground. Scotland again, to go quickly from this one, the overthrow to an Irish player, then recycle, and Ireland go over the line. I think it might have been Doris, I'm not too sure. But Scotland went quickly. They use a new ball, which you're not allowed to do, whether it's in your favour or against you. In this case, it was for Scotland, so it was no try. We come back for the retaken line out, but Ireland then lose Doris, and Conan is on for them. The first of their casualty list this afternoon. Scotland then retake the line out. Lots of pressure from Ireland, but then Ireland can see the penalty. Scotland can clear. Scotland then, they lose Richie Gray to injury. It wasn't just on the Ireland side that we had injuries as well. Scott Cummings comes in for him. Ireland, at this stage, they're applying a lot of pressure, but we're still scoreless. Ringrose then, he puts a little kick through, puts Hogg under, lots of pressure. Lowe comes in, he gets him into touch. It's attacking line out for Ireland. Ireland then, they maul it up to within a few metres after the line out. They have pick and goes, they have advantage. Ringrose then almost gets the line about a metre short. Scotland, though, they keep them out. Then Ireland fling it out to Hansen, but he's bundled into touch by a fantastic tackle from Van der Merwe. Scotland defence there is just immense. Like, they really solid all across the line. Ireland then back for the penalty. Sexton decides we're taking the points. Doesn't look like we're scoring a try just yet. So they slot that. But you feel at that stage it's a bit of a let off for Scotland, but they deserve it. It was the defence that won that. Ireland, we've seen them opening so many games now. They score within the first 2 to 10 minutes from positions like this. Scotland defence was too good on this occasion. Ireland had to opt for the points, 3-0, as I said. Ireland then, Doris is off now, as I said. Jack Conan comes on. It's a really big blow for Ireland. Scotland, from the restart, they're on the attack, they're making ground. Dempsey with a really good carry. They go through the phases in the Irish 22. They're stretching the defence again, but not quite finding that hole. Hogg gets forced into touch by a combination of Sexton and Ryan. But Ireland's clearance kick then doesn't find touch, so back comes Scotland at them. Russell and Van der Merwe combine to go within a few metres of the line. We're playing with advantage, but then Hugh Jones goes over for the opening try next to the post. It's converted by Russell 7-3. That Scotland, centre combination really playing really well. They played well the whole Six Nations, but I think today they even lifted their game up to another level. 7-3 to Scotland. Ireland then lose Dan Sheehan to injury. On comes Ronan Kelleher. Ireland trying to respond. They make some progress, but then Scotland flood into a ruck and turn it over. Ireland then concede a penalty, and Scotland can clear. And, when we've seen either Ireland or Leinster get beaten previously, it's when the opposition are doing what Scotland are doing, targeting the ruck, flooding men in, either slowing the ball down or actually turning over. And that's what Scotland are doing at this stage. And Ireland are finding it hard to build up any momentum because of that. Then Ireland get free kick from a scrum. Scotland go quickly. Ringrose does well to shut it down. And then Ireland hack it clear. Sexton kicks it on again. And Ringrose almost gets there first. But Scotland get back. There's a bit of a contest, but Scotland win it. They clear through Ben White. Ireland then lose Ian Henderson to injury. On comes Ryan Baird. Ireland attack off the back of a scrum next. They go through phases. Keenan spins out a fantastic long pass out to Hansen. Van der Merwe puts in a hell of a covering tackle. He had a great defensive shift today for Scotland. We don't normally talk about him in defence. It's normally him going forward and smashing through people or, scoring tries. But today, defensively, he was amazing. Hansen, though, just about gets the ball down. It's a brilliant finish. Van der Merwe was so close to push him into touch. It's, just about, we have to have a TMO check to make sure that he isn't in touch. It's not like James Lowe's try against France. There's no kind of ghost foot and touch or anything like that. It is a genuine try, but still a hell of a covering tackle by Van der Merwe. No fault on him. It was just a fantastic pass that gave Hansen just that, split second, millisecond to be able to ground the ball just before he smashed him. Then conversions missed from out wide. Ireland are now in the lead at 8-7. Scotland then come back on the attack from the restart. Russell puts in a little grubber through. Ireland decide to go quickly from the line out. They clear, but Scotland have a line out in the Irish 22. Scotland then, they set up the maul, and then after that they spread it. Looks like to have a bit of an overlap out wide. Russell puts Van der Merwe through a gap. I thought maybe Van der Merwe could have shifted it on because they had two men out wide, and Ireland looked like the defence had to fold in to take him out. Keenan brings him down, and then Lowe gets over the ball. I think maybe Van der Fleer come in after him as well. But Ireland get a penalty. They clear from that. That was a great chance, I think, for Scotland just to nip themselves back in front there if they had been able to just get that ball out wide. From the line then, Ireland go on the attack. Lowe makes a break, has Ringrose in support. Ringrose then goes deep into the 22. Hogg gets pinged for off his feet at the ruck. Ireland decide now is the time to go for the jugular. They kick into the corner. There's no taking 3 points at this stage. They feel like, they've got to start scoring more tries and pull away from this Scotland team who are nipping at the heels. Ireland, they get the maul, set up the maul, and then they go within like a couple of meters of the line. They have advantage. Pierre Schoeman was off his feet. He almost turned the ball over. He just did that thing that gets pinged a lot now, where you kind of overbalance yourself, put your hands on the ground, and then come back to get the ball. He did that, so he gets pinged for that. Ireland go back to the corner again. It feels like this is a massive moment in the game. Kelleher overthrows the line out. Scotland are able to clear. And then Ireland concede a penalty for offside just before the half time. Scotland then decide to go to the corner. It feels like this could be a massive swing. Ireland, made a mess of a chance to score a try, and now Scotland have the chance to maybe go in at halftime in the lead. It's a great kick as well from Russell that actually got them into the 22, because it wasn't a gimme that that they were going to be throwing in from so deep into 22. Great attacking position for them. Tuipulotu takes them up to within a couple of meters after they spread it from the line out. They then go wide, and Turner is bundled into touch. We're 8-7 at half time. Almost again Scotland getting in the corner there, and as I said, mentioned on in France, this had the same pace and excitement as that game. It really was fantastic. Two teams just going toe to toe, slugging it out in that first half. We're into the start of the second half. Then Matt Ferguson gets pinged for in at the side of a maul. Ireland kick it up the line. Van der Fleer now is taking the throw into the line out, even though Kelleher is on the field, but Kelleher is nursing his shoulder. Scotland managed to turn her over with a choke tackle. Lowe then goes for a 50-22 as Scotland clear it, but Steyn, great piece of defence for him. He's basically kind of sliding along as he catches the ball. He's sliding into touch, but he calls the mark. So really quick thinking from him saves it from being an Ireland line out in their 22. Then we have kind of our first period really in the game of scrappy play, a bit of mistakes, actually a lot of mistakes from both teams. But then Van der Fleer, he overthrows at a line out. Scotland pounce on it. They're back on attack. Hansen, though, he gets over the ball. He wins a penalty for Ireland. Hansen was amazing today. The guy, he's always a solid choice on the wing for Ireland, but this was just one of his best games so far in green. He gets over the ball. He wins a penalty. Then where are we here? Oh yeah, so there's a bit of back chat from Scotland. Their march back 10 metres. Kelleher is then replaced by Cian Healy, so it's a hooker off for a loose head prop on. Ireland now have no hooker on the field. Ireland then go before the set of a scrum. They get free kick for that. There's a great kick then for Tuipulotu into the 22 along the ground. It puts Ireland, in a dangerous position. It's Ireland's throw, but it's Van der Fleer throwing in. But Van der Fleer does find his man, and Ireland are able to clear. Lowe slices his kick though, and Scotland are still in a good position. Scotland though, they knock it on, and Ireland then win a penalty. From scrum, Gibson Park is on for Murray. Ferguson and Schumann are replaced by Bergen and Batty. Gibson Park then puts a box kick up into the Scottish 22. Mac Hansen with a great chase. He gets up there above a rooted Van der Merwe, claims it, gives it a Sexton. He's brought down meters short of the line. It's penalty advantage to Ireland. The really important part of the game here now. Looks like Ireland could, pull away a bit. Ireland, they go through the phases, they suck in defenders, and then Jameson Gibson Park floats it out to Lowe, and he goes out over in the corner to dot it down. Sexton then splits the post with the touchline conversion. It's 15-7. Feels like a big moment, a big relief for Ireland, with everything, a lot of things going against them injury-wise, but they're able to get that score. Ireland then, they're back on attack shortly after the restart. Lowe breaks down the left wing, a really good fend from him. Then he puts a grubber and right into the 22, puts Scotland under a lot of pressure, but they do manage to clear. Scotland, you feel at this stage, they need to try and hold on and stay in the game and not let this Ireland team pull away from them. Ireland, though, they go through the phases from the line out. Hansen, he fixes the defence, and then he zips a pass right in front of the nose of Kelleher out to Conan, who's out on the wing. He goes over in the corner. Sexton lands another touchline conversion as he equals the record points scoring for like Six Nations history, equal with Ronan O'Gara now, 22-7 to Ireland. Scotland, you feel they need to score next. Scotland, though, they're under pressure from the Irish defence as they're trying to attack, but Baird pushes Russell over off the ball. It's a cheap penalty to give away. Hogg is then replaced by Kinghorn. We have O'Toole coming on for Furlong. Luckily, Furlong is actually going off as a tactical sub rather than like injured like the rest of the Ireland team. Scotland then, they go up the line. Baird nicks the line out, making up for his the fact that he's the one that gave away the penalty to put in that position. Ireland then attack. You feel like they're beginning to lift the pace, but then they kind of get a bit muddled. Hansen bumps into James Gibson Park, and Scotland can breathe. Ross Byrne then comes on to replace Sexton for the last 10 minutes. This is, again, another tackle substitution, and I don't think this would have happened even a year or two ago. You probably would have seen Sexton staying on there until he was, hauled off injured or something. But Ireland now actually have faith in Ross Byrne to be able to close out the game if they need to. We then don't have a long break and play for Gary Ringrose. He's down. He basically got his head on the wrong side of a tackle of Blair Kinghorn, who was kicking clear, got his hip in his head. He goes off on a stretcher. Probably not going to see him because of HIA protocols and stuff like that, or concussion. Sorry, not HIA, concussion protocols. He shouldn't be there against England. So we're probably going to see Henshaw at 13, Aki at 12. Aki comes back on for Ringrose at this stage. And then we might see maybe probably Jimmy O'Brien, but maybe like someone like Osborne will get a go on the bench as well. But that's next week. Back to the game then. So Scotland, they go through the phases. They get a scrum. They go through the phases. They make their way up to halfway. Peter O'Mahony then bundles Kinghorn into touch, but Van der Fleer is wayward from the line out, and Scotland are able to reclaim the ball. Tuipulotu then makes a rare error, kicking the ball out on the full. Scotland, though, they win the line out again, and they have a chance to attack, but they knock on. Ireland then, they go on the attack. Lowe with a beauty of a pass to find James Gibson Park dashing down the wing. He's got Lowe in support as well. He finds Ryan further in field. Stain, really does really well to get back and tackle Ryan within like a few meters of the line as he's trying to offload to James Lowe to go over the score. Instead, Ryan, under pressure from Stain, basically passes the ball forward into like over the try line. Great defense from Stain there. Ireland then, though, they win a penalty at the scrum. They've got a chance, but what are they going to do? If they kick to the corner, then Van der Fleer's got to hit his man. They could go for the scrum, but they decide to go for the tap. But then Healy, in his own words, fucking missed the ball. As he tried to tap it, you could hear him saying it over the ref mic. We had a bit of a giggle about that. So it's a scrum to Scotland. They then win a penalty at the scrum. They go quickly and they run it out of their own 22. Ireland, they're contained them in their own half, but then they give away a penalty for not rolling away. Finn Russell hobbles off for Scotland at this stage, hoping he's okay for next week. We've seen lots of injuries in this game, and hopefully we're not going to hear of any of these players being out for the World Cup or anything like that. That would be terrible. We want to see all these fantastic players at that World Cup. And Russell was fantastic for Scotland today. He really tested the Ireland defence, bringing the ball to them. He, if Ireland were covering the pass, he'd go for the break. If Ireland were paying too much attention to him, he'd try and put someone through a hole. But yeah, he's off. And then Ireland, they managed to break into the Scottish 22. Like, they get within maybe 5 minutes of the line, but then Baird knocks on, and that's the game. We're at 22-7. We can all take a breath, because that really was a breathless game. Another epic. And I'm just thinking, possibly this could be the best Six Nations we've ever seen. The quality of the games, especially involving these two teams of France, have just been at another level than we've seen in recent years. Onto then, let's have a look at some stats from the game. So possession was 49 to Scotland, 51 to Ireland. Territory, 40 to Scotland, 60 to Ireland. Clean breaks, 2 for Scotland, 5 for Ireland. Those clean breaks for Ireland really helped them in the second half, especially with getting in position to score those tries that ultimately won the game. Defenders beaten 25 for Scotland, 10 for Ireland. Scotland, especially midfield with Russell and then some of their other carries as well, they were beating the Irish defence. But the Irish defence, something that they've been really good at, is to scramble defence. So when Scotland do beat a defender, they have someone in there to cover and to just slow down the momentum and make sure that half break doesn't turn into a clean break. But Scotland really did stretch that Ireland defence today, put them under a lot of pressure. You can see that. That's why they have 25 players beaten. Line out, 67% for Scotland, 77% for Ireland, with Van der Fleer throwing in about half of the lineouts in the game. Is crazy. Then I think another interesting stat as well, the last one we look at today, more stats you'll be able to see in the dedicated video on Monday or Tuesday. Kicks, 19 for Scotland, 28 for Ireland. Scotland didn't kick that much today. Neither team really did, but Ireland doing more of the kicking and a lot of time winning the kicking battles as well. And a lot of the kicks as well weren't necessarily these back and forward kick tennis kind of kicks. A lot of them were box kicks, especially when Gibson Park came on, and Ireland were able to isolate some Scottish defenders from that. A clear tactic, though, from Scotland today that they were going to hang on to the ball against Ireland. Probably worried about the fact that Ireland have Keenan, Hansen and Lowe, all really good at under the high ball. We have seen, though, teams in the past target Keenan and try and isolate him and put her under pressure when they've got a big player to up against him. So if Stewart is a fullback for England next week, you might see that deployed as a tactic. Scotland didn't go for it today, though. They decided that they were better off keeping the ball in hand and not kicking to that back three of Ireland. In terms of where the teams are then, so Scotland, fantastic performance from them. I think they've shown now that they can live with, in the last two games, they can live with teams of the caliber of France and this Ireland team, and that when they go into the World Cup, I think Scotland won't have any fear in that group. It is like a group of death, and one a fantastic team is going to go out, be that Scotland, Ireland, or South Africa. One of those three teams should be in the quarterfinals if they're playing at the level that we've seen them play recently. But one of them is going to go out. But Scotland won't fear any teams, I think, in the World Cup. They've shown they have the ability to put this Ireland team under pressure. They've shown they can score. Make opportunities, score, try against them as well. They just need to put all that together for an 80-minute performance, and they could be on the right side of the result at the World Cup. For Ireland, they've shown something that we haven't seen from them much, because they haven't had to show it. They've gotten out to leads in most of their other games. This time they had to come back. They had to dig in. They had to produce a comeback. Now, it wasn't that far. Like, if Scotland had scored another couple of tries when they got in the lead there, it might have been a hard road back for Ireland. But they came back all the same, and they got the win there. So that'll be very pleasing for them. They didn't get the bonus point that maybe they would have liked to have, to give them a bit of breathing space in terms of the championship for next week. But still, I said before the game I would take a 1-point win. I stand by that. And Scotland's performance today, I think, shows why I think a lot of us in Ireland have immense respect for this Scotland team. Ireland, though, they're going to need to patch up their squad for next week against England. We might see even someone like Tom Stewart on the bench at hooker, but they're going to have to now not come down for this. They're going to have to lift themselves back up again against England, because that England team, they're going to be hurting. They're going to want to come to Dublin. They're going to want to spoil the party and show the world that they're not as bad as that performance against France. Ireland, they're going to have to be on it again. They might find themselves under the same amount of pressure that they were today in that match as well, and they're going to have to produce again.